Welcome back. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. The words of the 40th President of the United States, Ronald Reagan, still resonate to this day. The global oligarchy is relentlessly pressing forward with draconian plans to track and control every single aspect of your life. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, from the cradle to the grave. They want to impose drastic measures like a digital dollar, monitoring every penny you spend, how you spend it, and whether you get to spend it at all. The communist Chinese are leading the charge with their so-called social credit system. It's a terrifying concept George Orwell predicted 74 years ago today in his dystopian masterpiece, 1984. And if you think it can't happen here, well, think again.
They're constantly monitored by facial recognition cameras that are able to instantly put a face to a name. Now the Chinese are also ranked, given a mark out of a possible 950 points. A score in the 700s is considered good, around the 500 mark is not. For now, the number is a sort of bank credit rating, keeping track of everyone's spending habits.
By using the most data possible, the so-called big data, the system will play an important role in rebuilding a moral society.
The state will go over every detail of a person's life with a fine-tooth comb. The financial situation, spending habits, career, even behavior on social media. Criticizing the government online or displaying outward signs of wealth is a no-no. On the other hand, praising the party or giving blood increases your social credit. A good score brings benefits, but people with low scores lose rights. The cinema names and shames people considered untrustworthy, plastering their details, even their addresses, across big screens.
It may seem scary, but it's just like that here. We're used to it, and anyway, we don't have a choice.
Perhaps the most chilling statement, we don't have a choice. Sounds like someone didn't want her social credit score to take a hit. It all boils down to digital dictatorship. Those considered bad citizens are banned from public transportation, denied bank loans, prohibited from starting businesses, and blocked from buying homes. Global elitists tied to groups like the World Economic Forum, the World Health Organization, the fascists behind Big Pharma, and even Team Biden are all on board with this scheme. They just can't wait to bring this wildly oppressive social credit system to a city near you. Joining me now, Executive Chairman at the Center for Security Policy and author of the book, The Indictment Prosecuting the Chinese Communist Party and Friends for Crimes Against America, China, and the World, Frank Gaffney. Thanks so much for being with us today.
It's a pleasure to be with you, Allison. Thank you.
Of course. So, Frank, break it down for us. The social credit system is well on its way to coming here. What do you think the timeline is, and what does this look like if we don't resist this insanity while we still have the opportunity?
It's imminent. In fact, I would argue that what we saw during the COVID pandemic was evidence that it's already here. It's just not quite as systematic as it is in the People's Republic of China, but the Chinese Communist Party has a very, I think, well-advanced strategy for making sure that it is imposed upon us, and that some of the infrastructure that has been put in place is brought to bear as quickly as possible. How they'll do that under the guise of something they call global governance is using most immediately the World Health Organization, an outfit that it largely controls. It picked its Director General, Tedros Ghebreyesus, a communist, some say terrorist from Ethiopia without a medical degree, to do its bidding, and he did in that pandemic. And today they're trying to make sure that he has the power to tell us what is a public health emergency of international concern. May have nothing to do with pandemics, by the way, maybe gun violence, for example, and more importantly, to tell us what will be done in response to that crisis, perhaps confiscating your guns, for example. But the point is that all of this is going to be made vastly easier, more efficient, more comprehensive, more irreversible, thanks to things like a national health ID or a digital health ID that's issued universally by the World Health Organization. These become, and your intro was perfect, these become the platforms on which all of that social credit score information can be compiled, can be assessed, and not only big data, but artificial intelligence brought to bear, quantum computing and the like, to make sure that everybody's whereabouts, their activities, their thoughts even, are known to the authorities and controlled to the advantage of those who will be exercising on our behalf global governance.
Yeah, you're because they're hiding in plain sight, right? We know exactly where this is headed. The World Economic Forum states this in their own documents. The UN recently sponsored a high-level panel on digital cooperation, co-chaired by none other than Melinda Gates and Jack Ma, the creator of China's social credit system. So these are the people deciding the future of humanity, and the UN even states in their own documents, one of their many visions for the future is a new apex body, which would ultimately be in charge of the entire financial system and will supposedly enhance its coherence and align priorities with the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. So if I'm correct here, it all merges together, right? They're going to have control of every aspect of your life. Not only are they going to track and trace your every move, but they'll have full control over your bank accounts as well.
Well, that's right. There's a new angle to that, which you haven't mentioned, which is the central bank digital currency, which the Federal Reserve is going to be trotting out in a sort of prototype form with something called Fed Now next month. And once your currency, your bank accounts, your personal finances are all digitally arranged, it is just a matter of time, and probably not very much time, before those who are controlling all that other stuff we just talked about have access to and the ability to deny you access to your funds. And again, don't take my word for it. This is what is being done every day now in communist China. And we've seen people queuing up to get access to their banks, deposits, and they've had their digital passport, as it's called, suddenly no longer activated. You are not able to leave your home. You're not able to be demonstrating outside your bank. You're certainly not going to be able to get access to your funds. That is what these elites have in mind for all of us. And you ask the question, what can we do about it? Well, it starts with recognizing the peril that is afoot. To this point, apart from a relative handful of members of the United States Congress who have actually taken note of all of this, I want to do a shout out specifically to Congressman Ralph Norman, who brought together about 17 of his colleagues in a press conference that we did on the 15th of May outside of the Capitol. But apart from them, there's scarcely another person in Washington, D.C., other than those who are actively promoting all of this for the Biden administration.
Other than those who are actively promoting all of this for the Biden administration.
Who's even alive to the danger, let alone doing anything to stop it. Our hope is that individuals watching this program will look at sovereigntycoalition.org as a website with an awful lot of information about all of this, and that makes the case we need to extricate ourselves from the World Health Organization before this kind of trap is closed on us. And that's very, very much at hand, as I say. There's a declaration there, we call it the American Sovereignty Declaration, which people can sign on to, and then go to an Align Act feature, which enables them to let their elected representatives in the Senate and the House know how seriously concerned they are and how they want corrective action taken. And I thank you for paying attention to this and hoping others of us do the same.
Of course, I think it's absolutely critical. I think it's probably the most important story that not nearly enough people are talking about, and I'm so grateful that people like yourself are shedding light on all of this. Frank, thank you so much for joining us today. We're all out of time, but where can people find you and follow you for more?
I'm at securefreedom.org, presentdangerchina.org, at Frank Gaffney, and securingamerica.tv.
Thank you so much. Take care.